Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. Thank you for joining me once again. Today I'm in a really cool spot in Staffordshire, just north of where I live, or well, just north and west of where I live, to be quite honest with you. But I'm at a place called Kinver Edge. Now I've never been here before, but I've seen lots of images and videos of the place, and I just thought it looked like a really cool place to come for an autumnal walk. I'm not really here for the autumn colours, although there are still some autumn colours popping which look amazing, but there are a few little surprises that I've got in store along this walk. So come with me along Kinver Edge and we'll see what we can find. I'm already spotting quite a few really nice views, like the one behind me and just over my shoulder just here. Basically Kinver Edge is a sandstone rock basically, which you can climb up via various paths around the edge itself, and then you get some stunning views all across Staffordshire and the surrounding countryside. So that's what I've come here for today, the views, but also I know there's some very interesting stories about this particular route that I'm on now. There are several different walking routes around here, and the one I'm on is waymarked with purple way markers all the way along the path. So at the moment I'm heading up this path here behind me to carry on around Kinver Edge itself. It's supposed to be about a 2.5 hour walk. It may take me a little less than that, it may take me a little more, I don't mind. It's a beautiful day, the sun's out just about, and I'm hoping to get some beautiful shots. But like I said, it's really the scenery, the views that I'm seeing when I'm walking around the edge, and also the interesting stories of the places around here on Kinver Edge itself. So I'm going to head on and see if I can find my first composition. So I've got just a few yards along this path and I've got this tree just behind me, which is beautiful. I'm not sure if it's an oak tree or a beech tree or something like that. Actually probably it's an oak, to be honest. But I wanted to stop and take a photo of this. You can see the tree is kind of just off the path is here and the tree is just off the path heading down the slope a little bit. So I wanted to stop here and capture a photo of this. It would have been very easy to zoom right into the very interesting areas here on the bottom of the tree where all the limbs come out of it, but actually I didn't want to do that. What I wanted was to capture the tree as a whole. So what I chose to do instead was to get the 24 to 50mm lens out and shoot this in a portrait orientation. I may even choose to make it a square crop later on when I decide to edit the photo at the end, but this is the tree that I wanted to photograph. The problem I've got here, of course, is the light, the sunlight behind the tree is much brighter than the rest of the scene. So I'm having to bracket the exposures here to get a decent shot of this. But like I say, it may well be a square crop or a portrait orientation, depending on how I feel about the image when I look at it on the computer. So now I'm going to see if I can move on and find something else even more interesting than this tree behind me. So I'm basically now at the top of Kinver Edge, and I don't know if I can turn around and show it here, but just behind me there is basically the summit stone really of Kinver Edge. I'm not so sure that necessarily is the summit, because as I walk along here, this is the path I've got to go along, and that seems to rise a little bit further. So I don't know whether that summit stone is actually in the right place or if it's just a deceptive view. But either way, as I'm looking at here, the views are spectacular. Just over, according to the summit stone, just there, just over here in this direction, which you can't see at the moment, is the Long Mynd, which is an area where I went to in Shropshire when I went to the Light Spout waterfall a month or so ago. If you've seen that video, basically that is over in that direction somewhere. Like I said, you can't see it at the moment, but also if you follow that line in virtually a straight line in that direction as well, you would eventually end up in Dublin. So this is quite an interesting spot. I'm going to move on and see if I can get a composition somewhere, but before I do, I think there's a few little shots that I want to take here of the beautiful scenery. It'd be rude not to, really, wouldn't it? So right behind me here, I don't know how well you can see it, just over here somewhere, there is a white house just in the valley, just down below me, looking down from Kinver Edge, and makes a beautiful picture. And with the autumn colour on the leaves of the trees surrounding it, it looks amazing. It's just a little tiny house poking its head up out of the trees, and that's got a really strong contrast with the white of the house and the beautiful colours of the autumn leaves. But also then further back you've got those rolling hills heading further off into the distance, which provide you that beautiful green and blue scenery from the green of the fields and the sky itself. The clouds are amazing as well, so I think I'm going to stop here and take a photo. So it appears this here may be the summit stone for Kinver Edge. I have, from where I last was, taken that photo out towards the Long Mynd. I have walked slightly uphill, not very much, probably only about 10 or 15 metres uphill, but obviously this now is a much higher point than where I was before. I can see a few little nice views around here, but there's not really very much to go at because I'm kind of stuck in the middle of a woodland path at the minute. So really there's just a view over in this direction. It's not beautiful, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, but at the moment the sun's too harsh and too bright to be shooting over towards that. So I'm going to carry on along the path past this summit stone, which I'm going to touch before I go past it, and then see what else is around Kinver Edge, because I am still on the route that I was hoping to walk along. So I know for a fact that this is the right direction to be going in. I'm watching the way markers, and at the moment the way markers that I'm looking for are all purple. So far I've hit every one of them, so I'll keep going this way and make sure I stay on those. What about that for a view over there? These trees either side of this view look amazing and really frame up the view perfectly, but it's only really a portfolio worthy shot. It's nothing particularly special, although it's a very nice image, and I've shot that at f11 1/30th of a second and ISO 100. Hope you like that image. It was just a handheld image with the EOS RP and the 14 to 35mm lens. Just down here, just behind me on the edge of the path, I can see a clearing, and as I look down into the valley below, I can see there are a couple of silver birch trees just there in the middle of that scene. You can't really pick them out very well on this video, but I can pick them out perfectly just by looking at them, but also by getting the 100 to 400mm lens out and zooming in onto those couple of silver birch trees there. They stand out perfectly with their very light silvery white trunks right in the middle of all that beautiful colour, the burnt oranges and little bits of green that are left on the trees as well, just in that little scene there. So I'm going to get the 100 to 400mm lens out and shoot that scene, because I think that's absolutely perfect. My only issue is this tree here, and just in front of it this tree here as well, where you've got the foliage here that kind of cuts into the image a little bit, and this tree trunk almost cuts into the image as well. So I've got to get this one absolutely right, but I think I quite like this image, and I hope you like it as well. It may even be a square crop if that works. I've veered onto a path, and I don't know if it's the right path at all. Started walking down it and lost a few way markers, and there were a couple of paths that looked as though they could all be very close together, and the way markers weren't very clear about which path was the right one to go down. So I found a post here, and it looks like there are more way markers on the post, and just looking at it now, I think there may be a purple one there, so I'm in the right place by the looks. Here we go. That's clearly got a purple way marker right at the very top, so I'm on the right path, which is good news. So I'll just keep following this now. Just to let you know, this is a circular walk through woodland with one or two surprises along the way, and I haven't yet come across any of the surprises that I thought I was going to come across, but I know they are here somewhere. But in the meantime, I've walked through this woodland and I've passed two guys already in the last 10 minutes or so who I'd passed earlier on the walk. So they're obviously following the circular walk the opposite way round to me, and then I've met them at two different points along that circular walk. So I'm still in the right place. I think there's another way marker just here which lets me know exactly where to go, so I'm going to keep following that. I haven't really seen very many decent compositions in the last few minutes because it's just tall, thin trees at the moment. There's nothing really around, only the odd splash of colour here and there, but nothing particularly special. So I'm going to carry on and see if I can find something else, and hopefully find those few surprises that I was talking about. So it appears that I'm going back up the hill, back up this way. I came down a hill and now I've started going back up a hill. I've just walked past an area which I think I've already photographed today. As I got to the bottom of the hill and started to walk back up, I spotted an area of woodland with several clusters of silver birch trees in them. Now I may well have walked past the trees that I photographed earlier from further up at the top of the hill, but I may well have done that after coming down the hill and cutting back across behind myself, if you know what I mean. So I may walk past the back of those trees that I photographed earlier, and now I seem to be heading back up a hill to the other side of those trees. I don't know how much further up the hill I'm going to have to go, but I know how much further I came down the hill on the way down here. So this could be quite a trek. I'm already starting to pant a bit and get shortness of breath. I don't know how much more of this I can take, but I'm going to plod on anyway and see if I can get to the top of this hill, because I'm still looking for those couple of surprises that I wanted to show you. So this behind me is Nanny's cave. I'd like to go up there and have a proper look myself, but at the minute there are a couple of families in there with kids, so I don't really want to go and start filming in there and taking photos in there while they're there. So I'll give it a few minutes and then see if I can get up in there and take a photo. But also there might be a photo opportunity from just here on this path. There's not very much space to put the tripod up, so I may have to hand hold, but I'll have a look at this one anyway. So this is one of the surprises that I was talking to you about earlier. This is Nanny's cave, as I mentioned just now. Basically this is red sandstone rock, and the cave system has basically been worn out of the rock over many years, using the elements and people using this cave as a place to stop and dwell basically. There are a couple of views outside of this cave, looking out from the cave itself out onto the landscape, which I quite like the look of, and I think I can actually get a tripod up here inside the cave and look out towards those images, those compositions. So I'm going to try that and then I'll move on, because I can't really do very much filming and taking photos at this particular spot, but I'll do my best anyway. So behind me is one of two rock houses, houses that were literally built into the sandstone rock way back as early as the 1800s. In fact, even earlier than that. I think it was about 1777 when they were first built. I've just been and had a look around them. They've been restored by the National Trust. They're National Trust properties, so I've actually had to pay to get into here and have a look at these today. If I was a member, I could have got it free, but I'm not a member of the National Trust. My problem, that is, nobody else's. But yeah, I've paid to get in and have a look at these, but these are fantastic. I've shown you the images already of the insides of those rock houses, but they're all handheld images, so they're nothing special, but I just liked the history and the stories behind these rock houses. People actually lived in these right up until the 1930s, and then after that they were taken over by the National Trust. So they're really lovely properties. Like I said, they've been restored by the National Trust, and as I go further up the hill behind me, there's some steps just up there leading up to the toilets, which are going to be useful, and a tea room as well. So I'm going to pop up there and get my lunch, and that'll be that, I think. I'm going to call that the end of the vlog then, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and also please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And I look forward to seeing you on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.